What's up, guys? Jahoot here, and I just got done seeing Barbenheimer. Is this the summer flick that's gonna save theaters? Is this a movie bomb worth seeing? Let's talk about that. This is Jahoot's Amateur Review. As a gentleman, we're gonna start off with the ladies first. Barbie herself. Now, I can just say this. I enjoyed the movie a little bit more than I should have. Like this was a movie where I completely already knew that it wasn't gonna be like for me at all. Like this is a clearly is aimed towards women. So me just going into this alone, I already was just expecting the lowest of expectations. So me going into this not realizing that this was PG-13 until the day of, I'm like, PG-13? A Barbie movie? Huh? I guess you can have some adult humor if I don't know. Maybe. We gonna see. We gonna see what they do. And I gotta say, I was laughing way too much in this movie. Like, I'm a stickler for meta humor if it's done well, and that's pretty much what this is. People that don't, and I feel like that's where the hate is coming from. Like some people don't like meta humor, and I get it. Sometimes it is getting like a little obsessive, but I mean, if the movie, it definitely does has its feminine energy and wokeness, but at the same time it makes fun of it. So it's like they not even taking themselves serious. So at that point now I'm just kind of in with the joke of what's going on. And but even though I switched my mind off to just let this movie play for what it is, when I got in the car, those intrusive thoughts about what this movie was really about and what the moral of the story ended up being, it will make you disappointed in this movie. Very, very disappointed. But if you're going into this with an immature mind a little bit and you just laughing at all the jokes, because I mean the jokes were actually pretty funny, especially specifically when they had made a joke of like the new Barbie toys and they was all depressed and like doing things like one of them was talking about that she spent 7 hours on Instagram. That shit took me out. That was some funny ass shit. I'm sorry. Really, the good things about the movie is, of course, the production. Barbie World definitely was actually like something to look at. Like, if this was an amusement park attraction, I ain't gonna fake it. I wouldn't mind walking through there and seeing the details because it shows that it has a respect for the toys at least. Like you can look at some of these toys. I even remember some of the toys. Like they had the pooping dog. That was actually in the movie. I was quite shocked. Well, not shocked, but it was pretty funny for them to put it in there. Stuff like that made me kind of appreciate the kid in me of growing up with toys and actually having a certain brand to like Thomas, and like completely building a world with that set. So with that made me appreciate the movie for that type of aspect. But again, once it gets political, oh boy. And it was one particular Barbie that just had me thinking to myself, okay, for this world to work, if that Barbie was considering itself Barbie, if someone was playing with this toy in the real world, for example, I would probably think that that toy was probably the owner brother, and maybe she thought it was funny to take the wig off of another Barbie and put it on his toy, and you just put it in my world now. We got a new Barbie. But anyway, besides that point, and what the third act message was to be, pretty much was saying like nobody should ever just get together. Women should be their own thing, men should do their own thing, and men should be treated the less of the bottom of the barrel compared to women. Women should be superior. Woohoo. Yeah. But the thing that actually made the movie for me is, as you may have heard, Ryan Gosling. as Ken. Margot Robbie was pretty good as Barbie. Don't get me wrong, but Ryan Gosling stole the show. This actually felt like more of his movie. The way he actually like when they went to the real world, because Barbie she was having a existential life crisis, but because of the parallel of the toy that the person that's playing with her, which is a grown adult who hates her life and stuff like that. So now she done reflected it back on the toy, and now the toy is feeling what she's feeling. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but she's feeling what she's feeling, and it seems like really to me like Barbie seems just a little suicidal in this movie. But we gonna ignore that, like I said, turn your brain off and not think too hard. But and especially at the end of the movie, oh man, what a way to end the movie. When Ken goes to the real world with Barbie and he discovers what it is to like to be a man, actually respected or acknowledged in this world, he takes back that patriarchy to Barbie's land and turn it to the kingdom. Kingdom. When I say when that moment happened, that's when the movie actually really got good. It was like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then skip all this crap. Kingdom. After that point, that's where the movie was like, yeah, we got a good second act to the third act, and I liked that part. That was the whole because again, this was pretty much Ken's movie because he is living in a Barbie's world where Barbie does not fuck with him. Like everybody, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people had the impression that Barbie and Ken are a couple. But in this movie, they are making this established. Like, she don't fuck with him. She friends on this man so hard to the point where it's just like, it's cringing, but you want to root for him, like, to do better. And when he actually did grow a pair and stop tripping off Barbie a little bit and changed her whole world into the ultimate frat party, man, like shit, he kicked her ass out her own house. I applaud to that because that was fucking funny as shit. Like, ain't no way this man went back to the. This man went from the real world, saw what it's like to be a man and somewhat respected from, or not respected, but at least acknowledged as a person, and then go back to Barbie's world and actually like kind of dude it up a little bit, make all the other Kens in this world, like, have their own little style, some dressing like cowboys and shit like that, this and that. Like I said, it's a frat. And then the girls, the Barbies there, they trying to make them seem like they submitted or they are under a mind control. Cause like even one of the Barbies was like, I like this. It just makes me relax. Like I didn't gotta think. Like I don't know if they was really just implying like maybe these Barbies hate being in this perfect world and the dudes that came in and they changed it up kind of finally made something feel better, or they was just trying to say that men just manipulated them and now they got to be servants to these men. And I mean, this is like a point. Like I said, if you think about it too much, you're going to definitely hate this movie. So, like again, once Barbie realizes that this world is being changed, it's not her world no more, she decides to just want to give up. But then the person who was playing with her comes to the Barbie world with her, and she gives a whole lecture on why women are this and that in America. And like the movie does feel like it just stops for this one person to just give a whole rant on how she feels in society as a woman. So, again, with that being said, once you get through certain points of this movie and you find what actually is enjoyable to it, you can have a decent time with it. But if you really stop to think about what is being presented, because again, this is a movie that is targeted, that is a kid's toy. That's PG-13. And it does have some adult jokes. But the last joke, well, I would hate to be the father of a daughter that has to answer to that question. But, hey, Barbie they finally got a movie, and this is what we get. Don't get me wrong, after what I heard about the how long it took for them to finally perfect the Barbie movie. If this is the best they can get, you know what? Fuck it. Because this movie is definitely giving me like vibes of what you will see if you was watching it on TBS and it's just something playing in the background. This is about as equivalent to what this type of movie is already. Like it has just that early 2010s type of vibe still. So, but with this 2023 mind thinking in movie Western thinking. But anyway, I would say I would probably give this movie. I want to give it I'd probably say a 7.5. Like I said, this is a movie you have to not think about. You just gotta let it be for what it is and get through it. It's just, and this is a tough competition between Oppenheimer and Barbie. So for them to put this movie out there with that movie, this was a very interesting sit through. Now let's talk about Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer. Scientists scare me. And like I already said in my other videos how I feel about science, this movie definitely, quantum physics, y'all out here just be doing shit. And how y'all figured it out, I don't know. But that's some wicked shit. Now this movie, off the rip, I'm just gonna say, this was a hard 3 hours to sit through. Now, mind you, I did go see a late show, 10:30, but I took a nap that day because I had to prepare myself for a 3 hour movie that was being said that it is a dialogue-heavy movie. And I can tell by that from the trailer. Even being trying to wide awake, you're going to feel that runtime. You're going to feel that runtime. Because, again, this is just all talking. And I guess the way the movie tries to help, like, get you through the scenes is that it does keep doing like flashbacks, but the way it's set up is kind of like it starts off a little confusing, like what is going on? Why is it this and that? Black and white, okay, this is clearly probably a flashback, but then it does another scene where it's not black and white, but it's in a different time. So it's just like it's a lot of back and forth, and eventually into the third act, that's when everything, all the scenes that were just jumbled up, finally come together into one cohesive narrative. You split a particle, and somehow it makes a explosion so I don't know. That's some crazy shit. Just give me the gun. Y'all making bombs. So with that being said, again, this is a very hard 3 hours to watch. And it's like, the movie is shot well. The movie is definitely shot well. Now, I don't know if it was because I went to go see it in a regular theater, because I was trying to see it in IMAX too. But all the theaters were just basically selling out, and it was not enough showtime. So everything looks good. The production is definitely there. The actors are so well written, and they are acting so good to the point where I'm looking at these characters and thinking to myself, like, these could really be the real people. Like, I feel like I'm watching a real moment in time. Like, this is like someone not acting. This is just the actual person, and we watching them actually put a bomb together. That's what this movie feels like. You can take away that this is based on a true story or whatever, or this is just a non-fictional tale, but the way it's made, it feels like this is definitely like a real moment. This is a new movie. This isn't based off nobody. Like, this is a movie of its own. That's perfect. But again, a lot of talking. Like, the movie is based during World War II, so I'm thinking to myself, like, why don't y'all show any type of clips at least? Like, it ain't even gotta be a long drawn out scene, just something getting shot. Like, god damn, there's no action in this movie. No action. And because of the lack of the action to even get to the point to the bomb, why I'm even there watching it, the bomb just didn't feel as impactful to me. Maybe, like, again, I didn't see it in IMAX. Maybe that makes a difference. I would probably go see it in IMAX. But right now, again, that would be a hard 3 hours to sit through just to watch the bomb to see if the sound is even different. It's definitely is a loud movie. And when the bomb drops, it does go quiet, like the real bomb. And then the after effect. But it just doesn't impact me because, like, again, I don't know if it's just really the speakers inside that theater, or if I should have went to go find a theater that had Dolby. But anyway, I digress. Again, that's the only thing that's really just holding this movie is the runtime. Some people say they can't feel the runtime. Maybe you really, really are invested in just talking. But I need something to blow up or something to keep me sitting here for the next hour or two. Like, I could sit through the Zack Snyder Justice League 4-hour movie all the way through and not feel the runtime because there's something happening. There's things at stake. There's real good dialogue. This movie, it has real good dialogue. That's it. Like, it may even have a few sex scenes just to break the tension a little bit. And it was only one, and out of the sex scenes, they were mid, but it was one that actually kind of did make me think like, well, that was a creative decision. After that scene, no more sex. Fuck all that shit. This ain't no porno. This is a strictly dialogue movie. That's enough action for y'all. There you go. I hope they get y'all through the next 2 hours of this movie because all the sex is in the first 40 minutes. Let's get it out. Again, like I said, after the bomb dropped, the movie still had like an hour left, and I'm like, And then it was like at a point where it should have wrapped up, or at least could have been wrapping up. I got to looking at the ceiling at a point because I'm like, I'm ready to walk the fuck out. But I'm not going to do that because that's not respectful for this type of movie. Like, this is a movie you actually have to invest in. This is not a movie that you will go and wait for it on streaming. If you try to wait to watch this movie on streaming, I guarantee you, you're not getting through 20 minutes. You pay to go see this movie, so you're going to get through at least 2 hours before you fall asleep. That's if you have a TikTok attention span. That's what I call people with short attention spans. This generation would not be able to appreciate the type of art that this movie was. But again, even for me, as someone that does appreciate theater, this was just something that needs some type of action. Somebody could have got punched in the face and I would have been fine. But nothing happens. And again, building up to that bomb, it just does not impact me like I was hoping it to. Like, if at least other stuff was going on or a lot of more arguments, like yelling, shouting, like, okay, Uncut Gem. That movie didn't necessarily have a lot of action. But to intensify the scenes, it was definitely a lot of yelling and everybody talking at once, and it's just making you, like, your head shake. I feel like this is what the movie was trying to do in certain scenes, or like keep the dialogue so thick to where you more invested to what they talking about, but it just wasn't enough for me to just maintain a solid attention to the screen without looking at my phone, just to try to ease up the tension from boredom. It's just, that was a hard 3 hours. That was a hard 3 hours. And I got there late. Not late, like I was there at the beginning of the movie, but this is why I don't sit through trailers no more, because stuff like that would have been an extra 20 minutes of my life into this movie. Let's just get it started. So, but I will say this, if you were to do both movies in one day, in one sitting, I hope you did Barbie first, because going into this movie 3 hours, you wouldn't even want to go see Barbie after that. Like, you want to go home. And not because, like, again, this was not a bad movie. It's just a long movie of talking. Good movie, but it's not for everybody. It's not gonna be for everybody. It's gonna be hard for a lot of people. And that was a hard 3 hours. Like I said, the first hour, I'm just getting through it just because, like, again, nothing is happening, but they talking, so it's like, all right, we gonna. They kind of talking about the physics, and then you actually seeing them do like some of the math for the equations. Even if you look at it as a average viewer, you're not gonna understand what the fuck you're looking at. So you're not even gonna question if the calculation is accurate or not. So moving on, but. To me, sitting through this, I was just like, this is like a more mature Big Bang Theory episode. Like, this is basically what this is. Like, scientists all jumbling up, getting happy to make a world explosion. I like fireworks, though. That's as far as chemistry I'll go to learn, is how to make a firework. But anything beyond that, y'all here making shit that I don't even understand. Like, how would you even set it off to make it do that? How do you see something that you can't see and make it? How y'all able to bring a star to the planet? That's basically what it is. A nuke is basically a star that explodes. And y'all managed to mimic that. How? But that's just me ranting. Like, again, it's a good movie. I give it, the way I guess I give it a 7. Barbie gets a 7.5. This movie gets a 7. So they're equally matched. Now the only thing left to see is who's going to come out on top in box office. The way Barbie is getting marketed and the way they opened up like way more screen times to debut this movie, it's going to win just because of that. But we're going to see how it does at the end of its run, domestic run. We're not gonna judge it on weekend. We're gonna see what it's looking like when the dust clears, because after that bomb drop and you see Barbie for what it really is, they pull the mask off her. Whew, there's gonna be some backlash by next week. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Barbenheimer.
I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world, wrapped in plastic. It's fantastic. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Yeah.